everybody. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. Are you ready for today's episode? So, today we are going to talk about how, when you have some deep soul stirring, how you start to see things differently. I'll explain to you what I mean by that. See this coffee mug? So right now this is empty because I finished my coffee. I was thinking to make the video when I was still drinking my coffee, and I already finished it. Sometime I get a second cup, but these days I'm trying to limit the second cup, even if it is a decaf. Anyway, so then because I don't drink the black coffee, I add little sugar and milk. So I don't want the extra calories. It's already the holiday season. But anyway, so what happens is, the world around us is always the same. But what changes is how we look at things. You may have heard the very popular quote from Dyer. This is actually my second favorite quote. He says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I'm also going to put that down in the description section. So a very simple example is, a cup. When you think of a cup, water cup, I have one here. It's kind of full, so I'm going to drink a little bit. Imagine this is half cup. I'm going to drink more later. So you can look at it half full or half empty, right? So his point is that the way you look at it is, it changes, because you could be looking at it as like, sorry, my hair is a little messy. You could be looking at it like it's a half empty, and then you will always notice the lack. But if you see it as half full, you will always look for the positive. This is like how we train our mind. But so today's story is even deeper. So deeper in the sense that when you keep practicing these things, either it's mindfulness, gratitude, or whatever resonates with you, when you are consistent, when you keep doing that, what happens is slowly a deeper part of yourself keeps getting unlocked. And I have a different video around that. I think it was last Wednesday where I talked about past. On your side, it'll be like past here, last Wednesday. So look it up. It's about the layers of the onion, right? So when we are born like the core of the onion. We are fearless and all of that. But as life keeps going, people say you cannot do this, you are not made for that, and all of that. We keep building those layers. So as we do that, our life becomes limited, and we keep building those limitations in our mind, unfortunately. But eventually, like as you start working on yourself, and unfortunately a lot of it happens after a major setback, right? People always say that you don't have to wait for a setback to do that, but we as human beings, it is just our nature. When things are going more or less smooth, we kind of keep going with the flow, but we have to kind of hit in my case, it was rock bottom 2 years ago when I lost my job, a corporate job, suddenly, and then my marriage also suddenly in the same month. I'm laughing now, but it was nowhere near. Yeah, I don't want to get there. But anyway, I have grown so much from that. So for me, it was a rock bottom. For you, it may not be rock bottom, and that's why I say that, keep working on yourself so that you can unlock that version of yourself that will make you see the world in such a way that I can't even explain. So here's the coffee mug. The reason why I shared this story, and it's also a blog that I wrote, like I was mentioning. I'm going to link the blog down below in the description. So from that stirring of my mind, what happened is when I was drinking my coffee, and I just noticed a timeless story that connects this coffee mug. Now you will be like, okay, how does that happen? So it made me think of, somebody made this coffee. If it is made of clay or whatever that is for now, we'll just think of it as clay, right? Somebody made this out of clay. Somebody painted it. It's of all colors, perfect for fall. By the way, this is from dollar store. I don't buy expensive stuff. So if you guys went to dollar store, I have lots of seasonal mugs that I keep buying them, and a different season, and it just brings me happiness. Little little things. It's this fall has been amazing. I'll talk about it later. So I thought about the stories. Somebody who made this coffee mug, right? From the clay, somebody who painted it, somebody who boxed it, and everything may not have been done manually. They may have done using machines, but imagine their stories. Somebody probably had to stay late at work. Somebody had to probably miss their kids' school event because they had to stay late on the shift. Maybe they had a challenging marriage that they're going through, or maybe they had a good time as they went home after making this mug, this specific mug. Maybe they had a wonderful dinner. We just never know. But there are stories, right? There are stories, and not only that. If you think of that clay, it was somewhere. Somebody had to get that clay to that factory or something where they were building it. And before that, that clay was probably part of rock, and the volcanic thing that happened millions of years ago brought this to, to the earth's surface, and then it became clay. And if you go even before that, it was part of stardust. And depending on what your belief is, you might think of it's God made it, or if you go with the usual scientific explanation that, like, the stardust and all of that. But the whole point is it connects it all the way back to when it was nothing, right? From nothing, it became everything. Now, this is the past, and now it's in my hand on the present moment. Then you can also connect it to the future. So I'll tell you how it connects to the future. I'm drinking this coffee. I was drinking a little while ago. And I'm sharing the stories with you. I'm sharing the stories with you. And some of you will take these stories to somebody else. You will share this with others, and that story will live on. And I have my own daughter. She's 9, approaching 10 actually. She will also continue some of the versions of me, like things that she learns from me. So may not be the coffee cup, but I had this emotion of good emotion, which I'll hopefully pour into her, and then she will continue the emotion to her friends at school or others she meets, and maybe even someday the stories that I have, on my blog, my YouTube, the post on LinkedIn, and all of that could live through people that I don't even know, right? And it goes from generation to generation and beyond. So the whole point is that how a single object, right, connects all the way from the beginning till the end. So there is no beginning and no end, right? Isn't that beautiful? So when that thought came to my mind, I was like, if you think of it, it's not only a coffee mug, it's a pen. The same story can go with any object, a pen. And I have a mouse here, a mouse, a notebook. I have this wristwatch, not wristwatch, like the smartwatch. I'm not wearing it right now. Or even the rings on the finger, right? You can take any object, and that was what was most beautiful, that all of these objects was right around me, right? But how I started looking at it after that that stir that happened in my soul. And trust me, those are the stars. Usually when I say star, it's STIR, starring, for my accent, which is halfway between Indian accent and American accent, which I don't do on purpose. It's just naturally whatever comes out. STIR, star. So that star that happens on your soul that brings out all of that, unfortunately, it's not a good starring. It happens through a painful experience. So I did have a little painful experience. It's very personal, so not sharing that specific experience. However, from that experience, about a week and a half ago now, is where that realization came from. I have a bunch of other realization that came from where I was able to do some of my best work, actually. And that is because it is hidden down there. And definitely check out the layers of the onion, right? A lot of people found it is helpful because that you want to get to the core. And then what happens is as you go through life, even though you work on yourself, the layers will keep building up again, right? They might be thinner layer, but you have to constantly keep working on that. So now, if you are a Christian, this will resonate. If you are not, then also it may resonate, but you may not know the character. So Paul, who was denying Christianity, and even it seems he even got people killed who were following Christianity, which is crazy to think. But anyway, but later he experienced God, Jesus, and then he became a person who wrote half of the New Testament. I mean, that is just insane, like in a very good way, right? So why I'm sharing this is, where was I going with that? Do you remember? If you guys are online, you would remember. But anyway, oh yes, now I remember. Oh my God, sometimes I talk a little too much, and then I don't do scripting. So I want to keep it regular, just as if you and I are talking. Someday we'll do live version, and that'll be cool. Then you guys can remind me. Anyway, for now, so Apostle Paul, he had to kill himself, like his flesh part. He had to kill himself every day, he said. So what I mean by that is, we have this soul that is ageless, that goes, doesn't matter whatever religion you believe in, that is that the soul doesn't die, right? So it keeps going, it keeps living. And we have this desire and all of that is usually that binds us with our physical body and the mind, right? So this is like the flesh, the things that are destructive in nature, unfortunately, and this is more constructive, right? So the destructive in nature, that's what he was saying, that even though a person who wrote half of the Bible, imagine that, he had to kind of kill that flesh. I mean, metaphorically killed, not like a real killing. You get that point. So if he had to do that, who was so powerful, right, who wrote half of the Bible, we of course have to do it, right? So the point is, the reason I say it is because the onion, it's not one and done. Unfortunately, the onion, the layers of the onion will keep building, because somebody who said it in the past, something small, you kept building those layers, but then now that you went deeper, your dreams are bigger. So as your dreams are bigger, somebody might say something that might trigger, and then you'll be like, oh, I don't want to hear this or something. So you always have to remember this. Like, even I had to remind myself that I don't look for external validations. Everything is between me and God. Like, I am not proving to anybody anything. I am doing it for God. So, if that makes any sense. So you have the audience of one, and that audience of one is God. When it's in between you and God, and for you, it could be universe, higher power, divine, whatever you call it. As you can call anything different. You could be a different religious background. But the point is, when you get to that zone, when you keep reminding yourself, then you stay close to that the core of the onion, when you don't have any limiting belief, but you have to remind yourself that very, very often, because if you don't, the layers of the onion keep building. So where I was going with that is also that as you keep doing that, this is not the end, my friend. So this year, so I'm going to tell you, so like how this came about for me, right? This story about like looking from the beginning to end just through a coffee cup, which also connects to the universe, the stars and the galaxies and all of that. So that just made me feel so good. I can't even put it in words. So this is the thing. And I have been on this journey, of course, 2 years, a long time. So for you, if you just started the journey, if you're halfway in between, just keep going. And what I tell people is in 3 months, you will see significant shift in your mind. And people around you also will notice the shift. In 6 months, you'll be like, oh my God, like who? Why did I even care for people to notice? I feel so happy, right? So, and then in 1 year, you'll be a completely different person. Now, there's only one key rule. You have to be consistent. Consistency can break anything, any obstacle. It can break any obstacle. It's the simplest thing, but simplest thing is what works on the deeper level. So now, yesterday, somebody commented on my on a YouTube post because I posted something about consistency, and he said it's very simple but hard to follow. And one thing I learned from my own practice from 2 years is that you have to tie a practice or habit or whatever you call it as with a day and a time. So I'll give an example. So if you like every Sunday morning at 10 a.m., it doesn't have to be daily. I did daily, maybe, which is why the impact is more for me. But for a lot of people, daily practice may not be possible. But even if you do once a week, you will see the change. Even in 3 months, you will see significant change. But tie that to a specific day and time. You can tie it to Sunday morning, 10 a.m., Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Okay, these are my long video timing, but you don't have to do that. But the whole point is tie a specific day and time. You do it 4 times, not too long, 4 times, basically a month. And then the day and time will trigger it in your mind because our brain is wired in such a way it looks for pattern. It looks for pattern, a pattern that exists even when we are not following that pattern. So what I mean by that is, you see this watch. So in this watch, 11:50 right now, 11:50 a.m. Eastern time, if you're wondering what the time is right now. So today, it's Wednesday, I'm making this video in the morning. So so let's say if my time was, I'll just round it up, 12 p.m. So even if I don't do anything next Wednesday, 12 p.m., if I keep filming this video at the same time, 12 p.m. every Wednesday, 12 p.m. every Wednesday, I do it at a different time. But the whole point is, if I do it 4 weeks, 5th week, on Wednesday at 12 p.m., my brain will trigger for that. Like, oh, okay, where's that video? You got to make that video. So that's what I'm talking about when you tie a day and time. That helps you to build the consistency. And you also, what you want to do is, if you're doing a startup, if you're doing a business, which I help other people also in the entrepreneurship, because I had several other startups before that, so this is not my first gig. However, the interesting part is I never started this as a business. But anyway, that's a longer story for another day. Is that the biggest key to that is, in the past I had several startups which I gave up. Ideas are great, but I gave up too soon. You have to find something that fills your cup at the same time it fills other people's cup. And if you don't do that, that's when you give up. That's the ultimate key for not giving up in a startup phase. Because in a startup phase, you don't earn much money. You have a lot of challenges that you would not face when you are a 500 people company or 1,000 people company. There will be different kind of challenges. But in the beginning, since there are a lot of challenges, you have to find something that, so you will do it for yourself sometime, and that is the flesh talking, right? Because our mind, subconscious is 75%, which is the negative, or that is our normal mind runs on, and this is the other part. So because of that, so you have to kind of feed both in a way that that works in your advantage, right? And that is the ultimate key that I found, that you absolutely have to do that, because only then, when I talk about consistency, you are not going to give up. Because 4 weeks, even if you practice gratitude, right? I have the Thursday, I call it Thankful Thursday or Grateful Thursday, whatever resonates with you. Even if you practice your gratitude once a week with these videos, it's going to work, because after 4 weeks, you are going to start feeling some difference within you. And that is what I'm talking about. When I make those videos, it fills my cup. because those are positive things. And I know that if you watch them, it fills your cup too. So that is the big difference, that when it came to consistency, that I learned in the last 2 years, that how all of this come into places. So when you keep doing that, my friend, life becomes so beautiful, so beautiful. I can't tell you. I'm in my 40s, and I know this video is going to get a little longer, but I just have to share this. And I have said this to several of my friends, but I figured that I have to share this with you guys too. This fall, I had been 20 years, a little over 20 years now, in the United States, and there's fall colors. I'm in Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia has decent fall colors. I'm like, right as I sit here out the window, I can see the leaves that are yellow, orange. Some has turned red, because today is October 22nd, so the fall colors are still there, and some are still, stubbornly green. So the whole point is that I have never noticed the fall colors like this ever before. I'm really telling you, the truth. I'm like, oh my God, right? So yesterday I went for a walk, and later today I'll be going for a walk again with a friend. She's a friend and a neighbor, more like a sister. We'll be going for a walk. I have never noticed the fall colors this good. I can't tell you guys how to explain it in words. And I bought this like from dollar store, like I said. And it just amplifies the feeling, right? And then if I think of any pumpkin dessert, because pumpkin is big in the fall, right? It never tasted this good, my friends. It never tasted this good. I even bought a pumpkin spice latte when Starbucks had it from like end of September. You guys know I like Starbucks. Okay, well, whoever can say what, doesn't matter. I like Starbucks. But I'm not big into the pumpkin drink. I love cappuccino, but that pumpkin spice latte also tasted good. And the day before, I think I made the pumpkin bread, which was after 2 years, because there's lots of memories and things were there. Last year around this time is when I started seeing the light, and I was in a place where I was able to start helping other people, but some things were still, there was too much memories tied with it. So last year, a friend of mine, she said that I could make some pumpkin bread with her, and I was like, no, I'm not ready, because it was too much emotion tied there. But then, like a couple days ago when I made it, oh my God, I was really joyful, really joyful. And I even shared that experience with another friend. And that's the thing, my friends. It's like those little things. Nobody will know that making a pumpkin bread could be such a huge progress, but you would know in your mind that how doing those little things will tell you how much progress you made, right? And those are amazing feelings. You can't buy that. You can't buy that from anywhere. You can go to a seminar, listen to podcasts, read hundreds of books, but if you're not consistent, if you're not working constantly on your mind, there's no other way to get there. There's no magic pill. This feeling that I'm talking to you about, I live every single day in a way that I will not regret if I die tomorrow. And literally, when I say that, literally. Now, it's not that I never get sad, angry, mad, whatever, right? But it's all about, I talk about you live here, between here and here. But I do a lot less here than I used to. I'm more here. And there is no limit, my friends. Your lowest frequency becomes your highest, and you just keep going as you work on yourself. And that's amazing, because literally today, I was looking through some of the books that I was reading last year, because I was reading many books. I don't know, maybe 100 books, like some audio, some paper books, some like listening, some like the summary, some whole book. So anyway, long story short, because now I read even different books, and my researches are like more advanced now. But so I'm coaching somebody who's taking it very seriously, and I love that when people are serious about coaching, and then they take it seriously, they do the homework and stuff. It just excites me. It's almost like a good student and a teacher, right? So I also pour in to help. So I was prepping for something for tomorrow's session with him, and I was looking at the books that I read last year because I feel like, he needs to get to this zone before I can introduce him to that. But anyway, so I was looking at some books, and it kind of made me wonder in such a good way that now even the same things that I looked at last year, I'm looking at it even with more broader insight. It is almost like the cup. I would have liked the cup even before, but now I like it on a different level because it connects from the earliest of existence to like no end, right? So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, my friend. So keep working on yourself. Don't be afraid of the stir. Don't be afraid of the challenging situations, because it was almost like a deep cut in my soul, that happened a couple of weeks ago. But oh my God, the learning that I got. But you just have to look for the lessons that you learn. Look for the lessons that you learn. That's what Wayne Dyer. If you don't know who Wayne Dyer is, just Google him. He has connected, I think, the Eastern and Western philosophy, in my opinion, the best way possible. Also, like in some way, connected, I don't know, like several different religion in a spiritual way. So even if you're not a religious person, his teachings and talks will resonate with you. It's almost like he believes, at the same time he says, even if you don't believe, there are ways you can see all of it. So it's like a very beautiful way he explains it. So his point is, and which I absolutely love, that we are all here in this art school. We are all here in this art school, and every experience that we go through, we can learn something from that, right? We're in an art school, and every experience that we go through, we can learn something from that. And that's what I try to live by. Even in making this video, I'm learning something. When I text with my friends or others, I learn something. And when I'm on a phone call or a meeting or an in-person meeting, even in a party, you can always learn something, right? So you can think of in the society, even the most controversial people, I try to learn something from those controversial people, which is crazy, but that is what I'm talking about. When you have an open mind that I can always learn something from this experience or this person or that person, your mind goes to a zone that it becomes limitless. Becomes limitless. So I'm going to share this last story with you and then finish the video. So today's Wednesday. Last Friday, we had a Toastmasters open house. So if you don't know what Toastmasters is, it is about public speaking. And many years ago, 15 years ago, I used to be afraid of public speaking. And then I joined Toastmasters about 12 years ago. Oh my God, it changed my life. If you're afraid of public speaking, I highly recommend check Toastmasters out. There definitely is a club around you. Look it up on Google and go there. It'll change your life. So So anyway, that day, a friend of mine who knew me for over 12 years, we joined Toastmasters actually around the same time. And he has gotten a lot better than me when it comes to public speaking. I mean, he competes, goes to like the semifinals, finals on an international level, which is like crazy. For me, I speak good, but I focus more on the entrepreneurial side. He only said that the other day, so that made me feel a little good. But anyway. So he was talking about me to a new member, and I was right there. He was like, "Oh, she is fearless," and that just stayed with me. And when he said I'm fearless, he didn't talk about public speaking, which I have been fearless for a while, but he was talking about life. That how 2 years ago I lost my corporate executive career and marriage in the same month, and from there I built, and I'm in my 40s, and for me. There was fear because I was just consistent. I just showed up every single day. If you guys are interested, you can see the videos on 2024. They are so I don't know, bad. Bad meaning like I just showed up on the video taking deep breath and things like that because I did not want to give up, but I just didn't know how. So I kept showing up. That is what I'm talking about, consistency. And I did it every single day. You don't have to do every single day. You can do it once a week, but just keep going. Don't give up. Even if you give up, like even if you don't do 1 week, come back next week, right? So, and if you don't know how to do it by yourself. And that's why I have these videos, you know. Come back here and it will keep you grounded to this community. Comment here, then you'll be able to amplify the feeling that you get when you practice these things, because it is all about positivity. I am doing my best to spread that positivity for people so that they live their life even after divorce. You know, life is short to live in the past or worry about future. You can live the present moment as best as you can. Now go live the best fall out there, because fall is still there, a couple more weeks. Enjoy the colors, enjoy the pumpkin spice latte. Cheers with that. Bye.